We're at Merlin Olsen Field here, Romney Stadium on the campus of Utah State. Logan, Utah, the side of this matchup. Idaho State and Utah State back at it here in a series that Utah State leads with 14 wins. The Bengals have only won 2 of these 10 against Utah State. This Idaho State team trying to right the ship, if you will, and they've done it under the tutelage now of Mike Kramer, who knows what it's supposed to look like, right?
He really does. I tell you, that athletic department wanted to turn this program around. They went out and got a 4-time Big Sky champion head coach. He's done it with 2 teams, Eastern Washington and Montana State. And this guy understands the situation that they're in. He's taking his time. He's showing patience. I think positive things are happening on the field. They will soon happen in the win-loss column.
Well, we love his enthusiasm. And then when you flip the field and go to Matt Wells on the other side, this is a rising star in the coaching ranks.
He really is. One of 13 Division I coaches that are back at his alma mater. First year as a rookie head coach, he wins the Mountain title, the inaugural Mountain title, plays for the Mountain West Conference Championship. He's Coach of the Year. And, Brian, he does it with his star quarterback down after week 5. They got injuries all over the place, and they just kept playing and playing and playing.
Matt Wells has done a terrific job here. Gary Anderson kind of started the revitalization, if you will, and he's taking it now to a new level as we're set to get this one underway. Idaho State has won the toss, and they will defer to the second half, and Zach Johnson's ready to get us started here in this first half. Utah State on the move to open it up to the 31-yard line. And Chucky Keaton is going to lead his group out there after a pretty good return by his running back Kennedy Williams. But Keaton is a guy that just, he doesn't get flustered out there, quarterback, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's one of these cool cats. He understands what's going on, has a good grasp of this offensive system. And again, was just on fire. It was really sad seeing him go down with that knee injury. Struggled a little bit last week against Tennessee. I expect him to do big things tonight.
And there was a penalty on the kickoff. Idaho State left a little early, but they'll spot this thing at the 35-yard line. And now Utah State's offense. Matt Wells, his group. Kevin McGibbon is his offensive coordinator. And they have put up some huge numbers the last couple of years. It's very versatile. They can run it, they can throw it, and it's because of Keaton.
Yeah, I like the balance that these Aggies throw at you on offense. They can run, they can pass, they've got skill at the positions.
You'll see a lot of motion out of this group as well as they'll open with it on the ground. Fighting forward to the 39-yard line goes Joe Hill. He's a senior out of Fullerton, California. That's the other thing about this Utah State group, Ted, is they've got seniors in the important positions, it seems.
They have, and they've done a good job of bringing those guys along. They got them early in their careers, got a lot of play time, were allowed to develop in a big learning curve last year in how to win.
Yeah, it's funny to hear Mike Kramer talk about that, the head coach at Idaho State, the fact that, you know, when you start to get seniors in important positions and you get juniors in your 2 deep, it really makes a difference. Utah State's there, Idaho State's not yet. There's Keaton out of the gun, not playing as fast as they did last week at times against Tennessee on the keeper. Keaton, the Heisman Trophy candidate, in open field. And inside the 38, all the way down to the 36-yard line of Idaho State.
Keaton out of that spread option. Look at him right here. Read that in. He comes down for the dive, and he takes the ball to the outside. Nice job in the open field. Doesn't show any ill effects from that knee injury.
Not at all.
Scoots up for the first down.
You were concerned when we talked during the week. You'd watched a lot of Idaho State. You were worried about their speed on defense. Could they keep up with these Utah State Aggies? Quickly, Keaton's pass is slapped away. A little behind him. Here's this offensive line now for Utah State. It's a big group up front. Averages about 296. And again, you talk about seniors. That entire left side, Wimpy and Vuvau are both seniors there. You know, and they love running behind him.
Yeah, and it starts up front, and they want to run that football. I know so far we've seen mostly run here. When they run the ball 40 times a game, they are going to win the football game.
That inverted wishbone now out of the gun. Keaton here. Second back through. That's Rashad Hall, and Hall will take it to about the 37-yard line. Here's a look at that Idaho State defense. You're concerned about speed here, but there's some toughness along that front.
There is some toughness, and I tell you what, you have to have it. You're running that 3-3-5 defense right there. You got to have guys that will come up, smack you in the mouth. create some penetration, try to disrupt some things in that offensive backfield of Utah State.
Keep your eye on that nose tackle, number 95, Tyler Cutter. He's a good one. 6'3", 305. Got a big heart, too. Here's Keaton. Big third down here. 3rd and 11, Utah State. Pressure comes from the inside. They'll force him out. Look at him dance. And wisely backs up, but almost crossed that line of scrimmage. But you see, that's a senior for you. Threw it in a little traffic.
Yeah, you see right there why Chucky Keaton is a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate at the position. His athletic ability, his understanding what the defense is doing for him. Stepped up in the pocket, rolled left, was able to buy some time, still able to get the throw. Looking downfield, keeping his eyes downfield.
Here comes Jerron Bencher. This is a long field goal attempt here of 55 yards. The holder is a backup Brian Sweet. They bring in Bentrude for the long attempts, and he just overkicked that one. And the Idaho State defense, they'll call that a win at this point, will they not?
Boy, you really have to think so. They're able to stop this powerful Aggie offense up around their own 40-yard line. So Utah State, one chance on offense. Idaho State answers the bell. Now we get to see what this Bengals offense is all about with Justin Arias next here for Logan. All right, Utah State drives it down to the 37-yard line of Idaho State. The Bengals bend but don't break. The field goal attempt is no good, and now we get to see this up-tempo offense of the Idaho State Bengals. And there you see Justin Arias last week against Utah. This is a group that will roll off some plays in a hurry. Yeah, they really will. Mike Kramer and Don Bailey looking for about 80 to 90 plays a game.
Finney on the move. Xavier Finney gets the first carry of the game. And to the line of scrimmage, and that is about all. Boy, it almost looks like the CFL, like Finney's on the move before the snap there.
They try to put some pressure on that defense, make some decisions right away. Don't let them get their rotation in and out.
And here's what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of empty set out of this group, too. Justin Arias with 5 receivers. And time, it's picked. Early on, an interception here inside the 30 and all the way down to the 22-yard line. Jalen Davis, a freshman, just stepped right in front of the pass from Arias, baited him a bit, and Utah State with the first turnover.
Yeah, it looked like Justin Arias thought that his receiver was going to work a little bit farther outside. He tries to put it on the outside hip, and his receiver curled up and stood right there. Easy pick for Utah State.
Jalen Davis, a highly thought of. This is where you get as a program, if you're Utah State, to have a young guy like that, a freshman, highly recruited. They really wanted Jalen Davis. He comes in off of a state championship team at La Mesa, California, and you can tell he knows how to play the game.
Yeah, no doubt. Was able to stick that foot in the ground, break on that pass, make the pick.
All right, 1st and 10 now. Let's see if they go for the end zone on first down. Keaton strike. And a nice play defensively there by Brandon Golden to slap it away. That pass intended for Hunter Sharp, but Golden there.
Yeah, excellent job by Brandon Golden. You cannot play man-to-man better. Look at him get that inside hand across. Really tempted to grab him with that backside hand and didn't do it.
2nd and 10. I love the call on first down, though. Kevin McGibbon, aggressive but offensive coordinator. Here's the toss. On the reverse, a little sweep to the right. Inside the 20 to the 18-yard line goes JoJo Natson. But there is a penalty marker down here at the 23-yard line. And this one's going to be coming back. This is going to be a hold on the Aggies. Pretty good pursuit that time by this Idaho State defense, staying at home as well.
Yeah, good job with the defense there. Utah State is going to try to probe that outside of the Bengal defense, see if they can use some of that athleticism, some of that speed that they've got at the skill positions.
They're going to try to attack. You would think that outside linebacker, Mario Jenkins, is starting in place of P.J. Gramont, who's suspended. Number 47 is Jenkins. He's toward the top of your screen. You want to keep an eye on him in this game. He's a redshirt freshman. Now they're sorting it out here. Spotted at the 32-yard line. 2nd and 20 here for Utah State. Natson is in the backfield, standing to the left now, and moves on Keaton to throw it underneath. rolling over defenders as the tight end inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. That's a great catch by Wyatt Houston.
I tell you what, that's a throwback tight end right there. With all the power forwards that we're seeing in college football and the NFL, this is a guy that just wants to catch that football, turn it up, and hit somebody. He's looking for somebody to run into. Look at that. Lower that shoulder, get some extra yards after contact.
Third down now, 3rd and 12 here. And once again, Utah State in Idaho State territory, hoping this time to come away with some points after the turnover here. Keaton from the empty set. The slant is caught, but not enough for the first down. And how many times do we see that, Ted, as Natson goes up to get it, and there's a junior who should know better, run that route to the stick, right?
Yeah, he's about 2 yards short right there. Should have pressed the defender. There was a little bit of a stunt going on with the Bengal defensive front right there. And I don't know if Chucky Keaton felt like he had to get the ball out of his hands quickly. Looked like the offensive line had done a pretty good job in protection.
Now they'll try to settle for 3 again, and this time it'll be Nick Diaz. A little closer in this time on the attempt. So Diaz, who's been pretty good, 17 of 23 last year, was 8 of 10 from this mark. This one is a 36-yarder, and he knocks it in, and Utah State is on the board first here. Capitalize on the interception by Justin Arias, and Utah State finally finds the scoreboard. 3-0, they lead it here on Idaho State. We'll see them offense for the second time tonight here in Logan, Utah, when we come back here. 10:13 left in this opening quarter. You're watching the Mountain West Network, powered by Campus Insiders. There you see the head coach, Matt Wells of Utah State. His team up 3-0 here early on the Idaho State Bengals. That's a former quarterback, Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year last year. He's paid his dues, hasn't he?
He really has. An impressive guy to talk to. He is not going to let Utah State rest on their laurels. As much success as they've had, he keeps the foot on the gas.
Yeah, Bentrud's kickoff is a short one and up across the 28-yard line here. Come the Bengals, decent starting field position here for their second offensive series.
But you know, Brian, I like that with Coach Wells. I mean, understanding as a young coach that he's got to stay on his guys about the little things all the time. They're not where he wants to be yet. As successful as they were last year with that 9-5 season, the Mountain Division title, he's got bigger things in his mind for these Aggies.
All right, back out at quarterback after the interception, Justin Arias. The inside handoff. And again, well read by Utah State's defense. This is an aggressive, attacking defense. And they go after Xavier Finney. Here's this group. You can see them. Ted, they're just all over the football. They fight.
Well, that's B.J. Larson up front right there. I mean, that's upper body strength and power. Great leverage. Quick off the block. Makes the tackle.
Finney standing behind Arias, the quarterback here in this set. And he's going to air it out. Throwing that fade left and almost a one-handed catch. Let's see, did he bring it in? They're going to spot this as complete, I believe. Now he steps in now late and says no catch. That was almost K.W. Williams with a circus catch. He says I brought it in. Let's take another look at it.
Nice job by Arias. He floats it up there one-handed. Boy, I tell you what, it looks like he might have gotten that hand underneath there as it came down.
He did make a great catch there, right in front of the Utah State bench.
They're going to review it.
With good reason.
Well, Justin Arias got exactly what he wanted over there on the left-hand side. Man-to-man coverage. He just takes that shotgun snap, lays it up there, and lets his receiver go up and take the ball. At first glance, I thought he should have probably put two hands out there, Brian, but really the only way to extend out and catch it was with that left hand, and then he comes down and is able to cradle the football before it hits the ground. And yep, to me in that replay, it looked like it was a legitimate catch.
And Kevin Hassel, now the referee, is on the headset up top with Bruce Bain, who's the replay official here from the Mountain West. And they'll visit the Mountain West, by the way, a terrific officiating league. I don't know if people realize that. You know, you don't really track officiating necessarily. But these guys partnered with the Big 12 and very similar in how they operate out on the field. You can tell who's in command when the Mountain West officiating crew's here. So now look at it.
This is what they're looking at. He's got the left hand out there, pops it up. And it looks like he's able to get that left hand underneath, and then the right hand. I just don't see the football ever touching the ground.
Yeah, I think that's a catch. The conversation continues here.
K.W. Williams, 6'1", 207 pounds. That's a nice size wide receiver out there, redshirt sophomore.
Yep. Out of Auburn, Washington. And you're going to see that with this Idaho State team. This roster is sprinkled with players that, as Mike Kramer told us, they look like they're supposed to look. You know, he just doesn't have quite enough of them yet, he said.
Yeah, and the ones that look like they're supposed to look, they got to learn how to play like they look.
Well, they're going to rule that an incomplete pass. We thought we had a pretty good look at it.
It certainly looked like it. It looked like he was able to get both hands underneath there. But again, that ball was called incomplete on the field. Obviously nothing there that convinced him that he should overturn it.
Now bring him 3rd down and 11. There you see Mike Kramer, the head coach. Former head man at Eastern Washington and Montana State. Tough as nails. Full of enthusiasm. Here's Arias. From that pistol formation, that ball slips out of his hand. Nice job by the receiver to come back to make the grab there. That's Brock Malcolm. Correction, that's Madison Mangum who comes back 7, not 2. But short of the first down.
Yeah, it's still warm down there on the field, and that ball has got to be a little bit slippery. That is not the type of pass that you're normally going to see from Justin Arias, especially on an out route like that. He's got better arm strength than that.
Arias, who's played in some big games and has been really good at big games. Last year against Eastern Washington, one of the better teams in the Big Sky, throws for 441 yards. 4th down, low snap here. Digging it out and getting rid of it is C.J. Reyes, and pretty good coverage downfield for Idaho State as well.
Good job by the punter there on the low snap like you talked about. A little bit of a rugby kick, but he didn't get the bounce. They were able to catch that ball on a line drive.
And now Utah State's offense for the 3rd time. They've got 3 points to show for it. Both times previous, they marched it down inside the 40-yard line of the Idaho State Bengals. Chucky Keaton. An inverted wishbone. They will show you several formations, will Utah State.
Yeah, they really want to mix it up.
Here's Keaton to throw it, going deep here on 1st down. He's got a man open inside the 25 and unable to haul it in here. That was a great throw by Keaton.
Boy, Utah State had exactly what they wanted out there on the right side. Man-to-man coverage.
Devontae Robinson lays out, and he had beaten Brandon Golden.
He really had. I mean, there was about 2 steps of speed right there on Golden. Golden can scoot pretty good himself. Now,
he's a senior as Brandon Golden, but already it looks as if Keaton is looking his way here early on. 2nd and 10 now. Keaton dumps it off, but out of bounds. That's going to fall incomplete as well. Ronald Butler unable to get his feet in bounds. And now it's 3rd and 10 here for Utah State.
Little play action pass right there. The thing that I liked about it was the way that Chucky was able to square his shoulders there right at the last second, get that ball down, but receiver wasn't able to get both feet in.
We asked Matt Wells about Chucky Keaton's knee. He injured it last year. Played in just 6 games before injuring that knee. And he says no ill effects. He doesn't favor it. And you can see it there moving pretty good to his left. Here's Keaton out of the gun on 3rd down. And again underneath. This time JoJo Natson hauls it in and will take it into Idaho State territory to the 46-yard line.
That play started up front with Utah State's protection. Great job by the offensive line. Chucky Keaton had all time in the world. Let that crossing route develop and knock it off to JoJo. Watch here on the protection. Great job by this front. They've got twists going on both sides right there. And Keaton's able to step up and deliver the ball, but the great thing was is he's able to wait for JoJo to cross on that route. Timing was perfect.
There's a penalty marker there. And they're going to call pass interference here on the offense.
Wow.
Apparently that's how JoJo shook himself free. That's a huge break for Idaho State as Utah State had worked it down. Into Bengal territory again, but this penalty will march it back to the 21-yard line.
Yeah, that was great execution by the Aggie offense there. Big gain negated by the pass interference. 3rd and long.
Yes. 3rd and 25. Keaton with the empty set. Idaho State backside of the blitz. Underneath again, same play. They got the matchup. Nation on the linebacker, reaches out with the football. Did he get it there? He did not. He's going to come up a yard shy at the 45-yard line. And a great effort there by Tyson Manu to push him out of bounds in front of the stick.
Wow. Identical play, different formation, but the same thought process. And again, they're running stunts up front. Great job by the offensive line. Chucky Keaton takes a step up, finds JoJo on the crossing route right there, and he comes up just a yard short right there.
And the linebacker, Mitch Beckstead, could not keep up again. 4th down and out to punt it away again comes Bentrude now. 4th and 1. Watch for anything here from Utah State. Coach Wells going to play the percentages. Good punt. Nice job of fielding it there by Daniel McSurdy. And a timeout on the field. 7:28 to play in this first quarter. Utah State delivering body blows that have landed only 3 points so far. What a beautiful night here in the Cache Valley of Utah. Logan, Utah, the side of this one. Utah State and Idaho State. This is Merlin Olsen Field. The greatest player to ever come out of Utah State, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. And his brother Phil didn't play too poorly either.
No. No. Of course, you spent all those years with the Broncos. We've had a few Broncos come through here, Utah State.
Yep.
They've had some players over the years. How about Jim Turner, the kicker? The high tops, 1st down and 10 here. Idaho State starts this drive to the 13-yard line. Arias underneath, incomplete.
Nice job by that Bengal offensive line as well. They reciprocate. We talked about Utah State's offensive line protection they gave Chucky Keaton, but they hung in there pretty good. Looks like Utah State is going to line up and try to push him back. Man on man. Bengal O-line held the ground.
Madison Mangum was the intended target there. They had him matched up on the linebacker, Zach Vigil, but he stayed with him step for step. Arias from inside his 5. Looking Mangum's way again, and again, good coverage by Utah State.
Yep, good job by the corner out there, and then the safety coming over the top. Really no place to go with that football.
Daniel Gray's a sophomore out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. There is a penalty marker there. Gray may have reached out, grabbed the jersey. Let's see.
Pass interference. Defense.
Yep.
Number 1. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
He's a transfer, by the way, from Tennessee. Is Daniel Gray. Just a little bump there.
Yeah, a little bit. We talked about those Mountain West officials.
Yep. And with that call, by the way, it's not just Mountain West this year, is it? Where they have
no doubt
put an emphasis on that pass interference. 1st and 10 here now after the penalty. They set up the screen nicely. Blockers out in front for Xavier Finney, but not a lot of room. In fact, Finney's going to lose about 3.5. Back to the 25-yard line, where it'll set up 2nd down now.
Looked for a second like they were going to be able to break that screen, but great job by Utah State in sniffing it out. You see that speed to the perimeter and able to make up the ground.
Don Bailey, the offensive coordinator, has been with Mike Kramer, the head coach, 10 years at a couple of different places. That ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage. And that's the one thing about Arias. Say what you will, he's got a strong arm, terrific leader. But at 6 feet, you're going to see that some. And Nick Vigil, that time the linebacker, just batted it down.
Yeah, and you got to know the Aggie defense worked on that all week long. 2-3 yards up, get your hands up.
Third down now. Here comes the blitz from the edge. Arias moves the pocket, throws it underneath and behind Madison Mangum. All right, it's fourth down, and Idaho State's going to be forced to punt.
Yeah, Justin Arias here in this first quarter just does not look sharp, can't get comfortable, in no kind of a rhythm. We had heard about this Bengal up-tempo offense, and they just can't get anything going.
C.J. Reyes out to punt it away again. JoJo Nation has walked up here. Natson standing here at the 33-yard line. And rugby punt. See if he gets a bounce this time, and an up back catches it and falls down immediately at the 48-yard line. That's fairly aggressive by Hayden Welchers, the wide receiver, a freshman from South Jordan, Utah.
Yeah, this is the second time that Idaho State is done this.
Yep.
And Utah State's been able to catch it on the line drive. I mean, that rugby punt's good when it goes, but I tell you what, it's not in the air very long, and when you're able to catch it on the line drive like that, great field position.
Pretty good scouting job by the Utah State special teams as well. All right, Keaton back out at quarterback now. Moves his tight end in motion across the formation. That is Wyatt Houston. They'll run behind him here. Right up the middle, good strong running to the 42-yard line goes Joe Hill. Hill, the senior out of Fullerton, California. We talked about they love to run left. Look at that.
A nice job by that offensive line. Trapping outside to the left right there, and he puts it right up off the hip of that offensive guard. That's the way you run the power game.
That was Tani Fisilau, the junior out of Glendale, Utah, pulling and leading the way. This pass a little high from Keaton. Look at Natson's way. They were trying to set up that screen out there. That wide receiver screen. Blocking for him was Hunter Sharp, who did just an okay job.
Well, Brandon Golden showed up again out there at his corner position. Great read on the play. Was able to stick that foot in the ground, get upfield, and actually get to the receiver as the ball did. Just for a second, he lost concentration and was able to break that pass up.
Utah State 0 of 3 on third downs here in this opening quarter. Facing 3rd and 4 here. Keaton, the quick hitter, diving out close to that marker. And this is going to depend upon the spot. Pretty good effort there for Tyler Weiss, but let's see.
Going to be close, but it looks like he might have got it just by a ball here.
He did. It's a nice job by the freshman, little presence on the field down the sideline to get that first down mark. So 1st and 10, a new set here for Utah State. Inside the 40-yard line of the Idaho State Bengals. Keaton with Ronald Butler in motion here. Looking right now, reverses field. He's left everyone inside the 35, and wisely gets out of bounds there. Pretty good job there by Keaton. Let's go back and look at that previous play. This is a freshman wide receiver. How about this presence of mind?
Yeah, great job by the wideout right there. I mean, Chucky gets the ball out of his hands really quickly. They're trying to just get to the sideline as quickly as possible. He's able to stretch out, put that ball across, and convert. Big third down conversion.
That's Tyler Weiss. 2nd down now. And by the way, you notice Chucky Keaton getting out of bounds. The old Chucky Keaton might have tried to turn that one up, get another yard or two, but wisely here. Throws a pick, though. The linebacker steps right in front of it and comes up with it at the 47-yard line. Read his eyes perfectly, and Mario Jenkins, the redshirt freshman, has given Idaho State their first turnover.
Chucky Keaton never saw that coming. Watch him back up. He's locked on his receiver right there. Did a great job breaking underneath right there, catching the football. That was an instance right there where the defender was able to read his eyes all the way.
And these Utah State players and coaches were fired up about it, so much so that this has occurred.
After the interception and during the return, sideline interference on Idaho State bench. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the return. First down, Idaho State.
Boy, I tell you who is not happy right now is Mike Kramer, the head coach at Idaho State, calling his entire team together. Here's another look at that interception.
Yeah, watch Chucky Keaton. Never takes his eyes off his intended receiver. Great break on the football right there. I mean, you've got to be able to look them off and then come back. He was locked on zero onto that wideout.
And there you see the celebration, though, that results in the penalty here. This drive will start at the 33-yard line. Coach Mike Kramer called his group up and said, hey, we're not going to do that. We're not going to be about that here at Idaho State.
And that's a great learning moment right there, to be quite honest with you.
He's going to take a timeout, too, to talk it over with his group after that penalty. This offense is going to start at the 32-yard line.
You got a defense that's fighting its guts out there, is able to turn the football over, get a nice return off the interception, and then the sideline's not able to keep its poise. And again, that's a great learning moment for a young football team trying to develop. And I think Mike Kramer did the exact right thing as the head coach, pulled it over. That's experience right there that he's got, pulling them over and explaining to them the situation and what they've now done. No, they're not in the hole, but they put themselves back from what was in pretty good field position.
And he talked about part of this rebuilding process at Idaho State is changing the culture as well. Here's Arias, deep left. A lot of contact at the 48-yard line. This ball is picked off, but I'm not so sure that Daniel Gray didn't throw Madison Mangum to the ground to get that.
Yeah, it certainly looked like it.
Yeah.
Gray was all over him.
Back to that thought, though, about Coach Kramer. You know, he said, you know, you kind of got to act like you're supposed to be here when you're changing the culture of the program at Idaho State. And I think that was, as you said, a great teaching moment for just that. There's the interference. Wow.
Yeah, the ball kind of hung up there. I don't think Gray intentionally wanted to shove him down, but he's trying to stop his body momentum to turn back to make the interception, and just pushes off.
Justin Arias still battling that football a bit, you know, early on. We're expecting to see lasers coming from him like this one here, but incomplete. Intended for Brock Malcolm. Pretty good coverage there by Jalen Davis for the Aggies.
Yeah, they're trying to create these one-on-one matchups to the outside and just let him put a little bit of air under the ball, but he's not been able to really get that ball to where he wants to put it and allow the receiver to run underneath it.
They're focused on these two young corners, Davis and Daniel Gray, freshman and sophomore. Arias underneath this time. To the 47-yard line goes K.W. Williams. He is a good-looking wide receiver. Penalty marker in the interior of that line. We'll let them sort this one out. Looks like it's going to be against the Bengals as well. Had worked their way into Utah State territory on that completion.
Well, Brian, you're right with regards to KW working on that slot.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Yeah, that's Christian Dean. He's been around a long time. He should know better than that.
Yeah, that's a veteran mistake that he shouldn't be making. You're exactly right. But again, KW working out of the slot right there. Big target. That was more of what I expected to see out of Justin Arias tonight. Quick release. Laser accuracy right there. Put on the outside, right in his hands.
2nd and 15 now from their own 42. They'll give it up the middle, and that's Xavier Finney. Not much there. That running game, Utah State's defense has had that bottled up this entire quarter.
Yeah, they really have. The front has played very well, but you got to keep pecking away, and forcing Utah State to respect that run so they can open up some opportunities out on the outside.
3rd down now. 3rd and 14. Arias moves underneath. This catch is made, but well short. That ball popped out. Is it loose? Let's see. It is. And Utah State is going to come up with it. Brock Malcolm could not hang on to it. And the Aggies have come up with a loose ball.
Utah State comes with a little bit of a blitz here off the left side. Arias finds this guy Malcolm coming across on a crossing route, and he's not able to hold on to the football at the contact point. Those are the types of mistakes that you cannot make on the road. Idaho State turns the ball over once again.
Torrey Green has come up with that loose football. And now this drive for Utah State starts at the 40-yard line. The 40-yard line of Idaho State, that is.
Well, this defense has been out here a long time in this first quarter.
1st and 10. And to the 40-yard line here goes Joe Hill. A little slow developing the run game there.
Nice job by Tyler Cooter off the left end. Good penetration upfield, saw the play, was able to chase him down, make the tackle. About a half-yard loss.
Really good play. That was the one guy on defense that Mike Kramer highlighted. Said he kind of epitomizes what this defense needs to be all about. 6'3", 305. Handed off again, Rashad Hall, this time with running room to the edge. Inside the 25 and down close to the 20-yard line of the Bengals.
Great job by Hall. Watch him right here. Read his block. Cut back up underneath. And then that's just open field speed right there. Again, one of the things that Idaho State, I think, was concerned about on that defensive side, how they'd match up against the Aggie offense and some of the speed they've got in that backfield.
Great block by the freshman Lawan Hunt, who was in at running back out of Florida. Fake the reverse. Keaton's got a man wide open, and he underthrows it at the 10-yard line. Boy, he played it perfectly, but just underfires the running back out of the backfield, Joe Hill.
Oh, nicely designed play.
Yes.
They've been running on the inside. They got Idaho State flowing to their left, wide open, and I think Chucky was surprised to see him as wide open as he was, and really, instead of just throwing it, tried to aim it in there.
2nd and 10 now at the 20-yard line. Aggies leading it here and threatening again. Direct snap to Hill. He'll just take it outside of the 15. Cuts it back to the 10. Inside the 5 and finally slung down to the 3. How about that? You know what? It worked on the 2 plays previous. Just snap it directly to him and you do the work.
Watch these quick feet right here. Watch him set the defender up. Boom, boom. Cut back on the inside.
Back to action here. It's 1st and goal to the 3. They'll give it to Hill again. A nice defensive effort there. That's Tyson Manu, the strong safety, up to make the tackle. Junior from right there in Pocatello.
Yeah, that's what you want from your strong safety. Down here, close to the goal line, run support. He's able to make some penetration.
Keaton has Hill standing directly behind him. 2nd and goal. They'll give to Hill. Coming back left. Idaho State read it again. And another terrific effort defensively by its safety. This time it was Cody Sorensen.
Bengals really stiffening up down here close to the goal line. They've created penetration twice now. 2 negative plays in a row.
Cody Sorensen, a leader in that defensive secondary. He's been around a while. He's been around football forever. His dad, Paul, played at Washington State and played for the 49ers and the Bengals.
A little bit of pedigree there.
Yes, sir. 3rd down and goal now at the 7-yard line. Keaton, play action, rolling right. All kinds of time. He's going to run out of room. Throws up the jump ball, but out of bounds. He was trying to give Devontae Robinson a chance in the corner, and once again, Utah State's going to have to settle for 3. And if that's the case, Mike Kramer's got to chalk this up as a win on this series for his defense.
Big win by the Bengal defense right there. And the great thing that was impressive with regards to that last play was the patience that they showed. They stayed with their receivers, didn't come up for fear that he was going to run the football, and he had no place to throw it.
Here's Nick Diaz out. 24-yard effort here. The punter, Bentrud, is the holder. He gets it down. And it's 6-0 Utah State. That gentleman right there, Nick Diaz, all 5'8", 182 pounds of him, has been the only scoring so far for the Aggies, who've been inside the 40-yard line of Idaho State 5 times.
You know, we go back to talking about how you turn a program around, and it's the little things here and there. Sometimes it doesn't show up on the win-loss record, but this first quarter shows me that Idaho State has got some fight in them. They've turned the football over a couple times. Their star player in Justin Arias is not at his best right now in the first quarter. Can't get any rhythm going on offense. Everything's kind of gone against them, and yet they're only down 6-0 on the road.
Now here's the key, and this is what Coach Kramer was telling us. Let's check back with him at the 7:30 mark of the second quarter, right? And that he circles that every game. It's been trouble for him.
He really has, and it ends up that all that piles up, and they just get tired, or they have a mental lapse. Something ends up big happening, and they find themselves down instead of by 6, maybe 2 scores, maybe 3 scores going into halftime. But he pointed to that exact mark. You're exactly right.
Here comes the kickoff now. Ventrude, 4 yards deep. And Idaho State now. We'll see this series begin. That's Daniel McSurdy, by the way. And let's see how Arias. I thought Arias settled down a bit on that last drive. The first couple of drives for Idaho State, we weren't seeing the Justin Arias at quarterback we thought we'd see.
No, we really haven't. And he's had some opportunities. I think these young receiver corps has done a pretty good job getting open. They've gotten some matchups that they wanted. He's just not been able to put the football on them.
He's got his tight end Josh Cook in the slot left. Arias, and that's, this is, I thought they could have called this earlier. This is going to be movement, and it's going to be on the running back, Xavier Finney, I believe. Finney left early. And that's what I was saying earlier when I said it looked like the CFL. Xavier Finney, the running back, starts moving forward
before the snap.
Yes. Junior out of Oceanside, California. Now here's Justin Arias backed up.
Well, Don Bailey, he likes to spread you out. He likes to get a lot of movement going, keep that defense thinking.
1st and 15. We've seen this a couple of times, so this offense has gotten off schedule, and it hinders the drive. Here's Finney to the 25-yard line. He got his 5 back.
I'll tell you right there, it looked like they might have had the edge, and he not tripped up. Looked like it tripped on his own feet right there.
Second and 10. Blitz comes from the edge, the corner blitz. Arias reads it and finds a man open in the middle of the field. That is K.W. Williams again into Utah State territory.
I'll tell you what, I am impressed with this Bengal offensive line right now. Look at the protection. Now that's the Justin Arias throwing the ball downfield that we expected to see tonight.
Quickly they come back at it. Give it to Finney running right. They found a little something along that right-hand side as he takes it to the 39-yard line. Finney is going to pick up 4 yards on that carry. Tell you who else I'm impressed with. You're talking about this offensive line for Idaho State. K.W. Williams is a good-looking wide receiver.
He really is. Redshirt sophomore, a guy that really needs to step it up this year if the Bengal offense is going to have the numbers that they've been able to produce in the past. This first quarter, he has been all over the field.
Last play of the quarter right here. If they get it off, that's Malcolm in motion. They give it again to Finney. This time up the middle, breaking tackles inside the 30 and down to the 20-yard line. How about this for Idaho State's offense? All of a sudden with new life as this first quarter clock runs out on them. But Mike Kramer's team struggling to find an identity, may be finding one here in Logan, Utah tonight. It's been since 2006 since Idaho State has won on the road. Still early, but hanging here in Logan against Utah State on the Mountain West Network, powered by Campus Insiders.